All right, folks, here's the report from the 19th of February, turn 6. And the big news here is that the Germans have just punched through one of their final, in fact, their final activation was the DAK Task Force wiping out Task Force Stark. You can see there's nothing left of Stark, just their combat trains, just huge hitting power. They got, first activation was to move up and not do much. Their second activation, you can see they've breached their minefields here, was to move up through here quite slowly and just hit these this American infantry and hit, and combination of various combat methods wiped out that entire American task force. So yeah, you can see off in the distance another task force making their way down, but if the Germans get the first activation next turn, they'll be able to drive through. The objective is the Lekef option. So there's two options here. You draw a chit, either Tebessa out on the left or Lekef out on the right. So they'll be coming up this road and then shifting to the right and heading up there towards that task force. So you've got two task force here. The Stenkov Kampfgruppe and that DAK Kampfgruppe. They're working sort of together. The DAK kind of just push past to move into that area. In the sort of north, that's one part of the action. This is the other part over here. It's actually spreading out towards the east because the Germans are looking at some objectives out on their right, out here, another one here. But back and forth combat along here. The Lang Kampfgruppe has moved up. They've got the Schutte Kampfgruppe behind them. So they've got two, and Kampfgruppe Riemann, very small Kampfgruppe out on their right. They'll be moving through along these trails. They're still fresh. This is the Kampfgruppe, I think, that lost their Tigers. So you've got two German Kampfgruppes kind of moving along this road here, holding the centre section. You've got the 34th Infantry Division along the main road. The Allies have started to shift out to the right to move along these trails. Very slow developments. I've been so focused on that main highway that I hadn't even thought about all these trails and the importance of these. So now they're starting to funnel out. You've got the first guards out here. Combat Command C, very weak in the centre there. So again, the disparity here is that the Germans are inflicting heavy losses on the Americans and the Allies broadly. Whereas the Allies just can't quite counterpunch. They've got a lot of infantry with the assault arrow. They can take ground sometimes. I don't know what it is, but the Germans aren't suffering too many losses. Losses here and there, but not a lot. Some of their armoured formations in particular are quite low. I'll point that out. Geez, they're down to one step, in fact. But we've seen the elimination of Combat Command A, Task Force Stark. What else have we got over here? A lot of dead American units. Relatively light losses among the Germans, relatively speaking. So, this is, I think, there's two exit hexes for the Germans. This one out here on the right along this highway, and this one out here on the left. And basically they need to get all their TAC movement allowance units off those exit hexes. Now, I don't know if that means that they can sort of prioritise one. So they could, for example, prioritise this left-hand drive and focus down there, given the density of American Allied units in this area. I think it does mean that, which means that they could potentially pull back away or not worry so much about the area out here. Of course, there's also the victory point objective. If they can capture enough victory points, they win as well. So we're heading to the 20th, turn 7, 4 more turns to go, and I'll report back soon and update.